Traveling with IBS is such a pain in the ass. Literally.
'Cause I think I'm falling in love. I think I'm falling in love.
Alright guys, welcome to today's video. Super informal sit down video. I'm literally in my gym clothes from this morning. Haven't done my hair, but I figured that since this video was so requested and I am traveling tomorrow and I was just getting everything together, I was like, why not make this into a video and kind of like discuss how I personally handle traveling with IBS, because a lot of you asked questions on my Instagram after I mentioned that I was going to be like eating some fun foods in New York this weekend. Everyone was like, how are you going to handle with your stomach and this and that? So I guess welcome to the video. This is gonna kind of be as quick as I possibly can make it, but I do have two different parts of the video I want to talk about. I guess I want to mention all of my medication and like supplements that I bring with me, but then I also want to talk about like some snacks and things that I do in the airport. First and foremost, traveling with IBS is difficult. It's not impossible, but some things obviously trigger certain symptoms more so than other. And for me, having anxiety, actually the anxiety is kind of like tied in with your GI system. Not for everybody, but there's been a lot of studies on like the correlation between your GI tract and anxiety and people who have anxiety and IBS and stuff like that, which I find really interesting. But nonetheless, I feel like when I get stressed, you know, I don't like flying as it is. So when I get really stressed from being like on the plane, or like if I get motion sickness or whatever, I always feel like I get symptoms of my IBS, where I don't really want to consider it like a flare-up because it's not like a full-blown episode, but like I'll get the really bad pains in my stomach or nausea, or won't be able to go to the bathroom or something like that. So I want to introduce you guys to my emergency bag. Literally, if you ever, oh, see, look, I have so much stuff falling everywhere. If you ever travel with me, I am like the queen of medication. I have this bag and it is from the brand Butterfox, and it's a foldable, I just have this stuff laying on top because I'm going to show you guys, but it's a foldable medicine bag with zipper compartments, like strap compartments, all kinds of stuff. So every time, I carry this by the way in my purse at all times, but I just put like individual stuff. I don't actually bring the whole bottles, obviously, because I have them at home. And then when I travel, I add more stuff in it. So I figured I would give you guys kind of like my top IBS products, I guess. And this can just be like for IBS in general. It doesn't really have to be for traveling, but for me, this is just what helps me get through some of like the traveling things that come along, you know, with trying different foods and being in a different environment and everything like that. My first product is Tums, and these are my favorite Tums products. I don't like the powdery crunchy ones. These are soft chews and they're just like antacids, and a lot of times if I eat something that gives me heartburn or kind of just like something that doesn't sit well with me, I'll eat these immediately after. I go through so many bags of these, it's unreal. It's just kind of like if you have a sour stomach or like indigestion, heartburn, or upset stomach, and these are kind of just like a more neutral medication for something like that. I'm gonna go through like the stuff that I take more frequently and then like the more extreme stuff towards the end. But so this is just like something that I can just pop in really quickly, and sometimes I'll even take these as a like a preventative measure, just if I think I'm eating something that is a little bit higher in sodium or not gonna sit well with me, I'll eat these with that meal. Next on that line is the Pepto-Bismol pills. I cannot take the nasty Pepto-Bismol liquid, so this is the next best thing. And this is kind of like if I actually get a stomach ache to the point where I feel nauseous, I feel like I'm gonna throw up or something. For those of you that don't know, by the way, I have a serious phobia of vomiting, like legit have been diagnosed with it my whole life, and I will do everything under the sun to not puke. So the Pepto-Bismol really calms my stomach down, and again, this is kind of one of those things where I can take if I'm about to eat something that I know is not gonna sit well with me, and it doesn't even have to be anything like extraordinary. It can just be like something that I can tell is made with a lot of oil or a lot of butter or something like that, and for me, that's my trigger for like an IBS flare-up. Anything with really high fat and anything with really high sodium. Things like pizza, I'm just not even gonna go that route, but if I did, I'd be hitting up the Tums and the Pepto. I have a couple of these like little individual packets of Imodium. Imodium's like a diarrhea stopper basically. And you know, it's funny, like with IBS, for me anyway, I never know like what's gonna happen, whether or not like I'm gonna be on the IBS-D side or the IBS-C side. You just never know sometimes. So for both of those situations, I am prepared. I have Dulcolax, which is just like a gentle laxative pill. Yeah, like I think you're supposed to take these at night or something. I very rarely use this, but I bring it just because I don't want to have to be like running to the store in the snow of all things if I have some type of flare-up. I have that, and then on the other side of things, I have the Imodium, and again, like I said, these are just like the individual packets or pills or whatever that I keep in there. I don't actually bring the whole bottle because that's not something that you would take multiple times a day, whereas like the Tums chewables or the Pepto you can take multiple times a day. Some Aleve in there, some Dramamine, and I also have some lactate pills. Again, these are single serving. If you are lactose intolerant and you want to enjoy like a little bit of ice cream or something, I still will sometimes get an upset stomach just because I don't typically eat dairy. But you know, like if I really want to have like a New York City bagel with cream cheese, I'm going to take lactate with that. So this is again something that I'm not going to take multiple times a day. I think you can only take like 2 or 3 of these. Oh yeah, I forgot. These are there's more. You guys are gonna think I'm a nut, but let me tell you something. When people get upset stomach when they're traveling with me, they're like, where's your bag? My magical bag of goodies. I'm always prepared. Another over-the-counter medicine that I love is Zantac. This is kind of expensive for like a box. It's like $22.99 or something ridiculous, but this is a heartburn preventative and treatment. As weird as this is, if I go for long periods of time without eating, I actually get really bloated and I can almost like feel the acid in my stomach. It's so weird, but when I take the Zantac, that really decreases that a lot, and it just helps me like not feel as bloated or not get the like indigestion pains right here, like you know where you would get heartburn. So this is something that you just take once a day, and it's pretty much good for 24 hours, which I love. So that's why I'm only bringing this little thing. And then last but not least, I put these little guys in a plastic bag because the bottle is so big. These are actually ginger gummies, and these are kind of more so for the nausea on the plane because I do get really bad motion sickness. Ginger gummies are really great for pregnant women. They help with nausea and like the feeling that they're gonna throw up in the morning. And I discovered these little goodies and they are a lifesaver. I also love the way they taste. I love these so much. If my stomach ever starts to like flip on the plane, you know, like if you go up and then the plane starts going down and your stomach gets all like blech. Can't say enough good things about them. It's such a silly thing because it's like a generic ginger gummy, but it really does help with like nausea and feeling sick to your stomach. Oh wait, nope. I forgot the last thing. The last thing is just a CVS brand gas relief. This is kind of like the generic version of Gas X, and this is basically just like helping with bloating, pressure, and discomfort. A lot of times this comes for me with eating like a lot of sodium or things high in fat, just those type of things that my body is not used to digesting. This will kind of help just keep everything in check, and if I do happen to get bloated from eating something or feeling like the pain in my stomach, I take a Gas X as well. That is everything in my magical bag of goodness, my emergency IBS bag, as I like to call it. That is just what I keep in my bag for traveling with IBS. Okay, I'm like the most over-prepared person when it comes to traveling. Like between packing my actual carry-on bag and then like bringing things with me, I always bring so much stuff I never need, but I'd rather be over-prepared than under-prepared. Last thing that I want to just talk about is things that I do for snacks. And obviously I know one of the main reasons why I'm going to New York City is to enjoy the amazing New York City food. However, you know, I eat a lot during the day and I like to be prepared with snacks and protein because a lot of times when you travel, it's easy to just eat a bunch of fat and carbs, and you definitely don't get enough protein and water in. So I like to bring a lot of protein heavy snacks to kind of like fill in the gaps in between the meals that we're gonna eat while we're there. Prefacing this with saying I'm not gonna eat all of this. This is because I like to try things, and you guys know how I am with grocery shopping and having a bunch of protein snacks in my house. So I like to just keep these things on hand. And the first thing that I always do, oh God, put protein in little plastic bags. This is just 1 scoop of Isopure Naturals protein, and this is the 0 carb, 0 fat, and 25 grams of protein per scoop. This is actually the coffee flavor, so what I'll probably do in the morning while we're there is mix this in with some coffee, just to kind of start out my day getting some more protein. I do want to also say that I'm not going to be tracking macros while I'm in New York, obviously. I made a post about it on Instagram, but I just feel like there's really no point to it. I'm not cutting for anything. In fact, I've been bulking, and I just don't want to have to worry about like the things I'm logging or being on my fitness pal or whatever. I just want to enjoy the moment. But with that being said, I also know the way that I eat for the rest of the year, you know? So like I don't want to go from eating how I normally do to then all of a sudden like a complete asshole because I'm just gonna feel like crap, and I don't want that either. So you guys know I'm gonna bring my Icon Meals protein popcorn. I just brought 2 servings of this, and I'll probably keep this for the plane because I'm not gonna be wanting to carry around a bag of popcorn while I'm walking around the city. But just for the plane because I don't like airplane food. Another form of protein are these Protein chips. These are my favorite flavor, the toasted coconut. For the bag is 4 grams of fat, only 7 carb, and 15 grams of protein. So it's pretty cool. Another just quick and easy way, like if you're, you know, not wanting to go out and get a full meal, but you're kind of hungry and you don't want to eat like garbage, just a nice way to like crunch on something and still like get some type of protein in, you know? On the form of protein bars, the remainder of the stuff that I have in this lunchbox is pretty much protein bars. I'm eating all of these, it's just so I have a variety of things to pick from. I brought 4 different kinds of RX bars. And don't forget, Jeff's coming with me too, so he's probably gonna be like picking at this stuff. I have a peanut butter chocolate flavor, just a peanut butter flavor, chocolate chip, my favorite, and mint chocolate chip. These I actually have not tried yet. These are the Think Thin protein cakes. And if you guys remember, I reviewed the Optimum Nutrition cake bites a while back, and they were okay. They weren't like my favorite things I've ever tried. They kind of had like that sugar alcohol taste in them, like the 1 bars that I freaking hate. These are, let me tell you the macros, 5 grams of fat, 19 carb, and 12 protein, but they do also have a shit ton of sugar alcohol. So I have a feeling that they're gonna taste exactly like the other ones, but I just really wanted to give them a try. They feel a lot softer, like even in the package. So I don't know, we'll see. I got red velvet and birthday cake. Another thing that tends to happen on vacation is a lot of times you don't get enough fiber in. And so I just grabbed a Think Thin protein and fiber bar in pumpkin spice flavor, and then a regular fiber 1 bar in the cinnamon coffee cake. This is my favorite flavor of all time. Last but not least, I brought some cookies. I tried these for you guys on Instagram the other day after somebody recommended them to me. They're the Buff Bake little protein cookie sandwiches. And I actually hate the regular Buff Bake cookies. They're horrible. They're just crunchy, which I did not expect, and they're okay. I think they're actually pretty bland, but again, a good way to get into protein, or if I just want to snack on something in between meals. It's just an Icon Meals protein cookie that I threw in there because honestly, I'm just trying to get through the box since I spent like $30 on a box that day. Still pains me to say that, but I just want to get through them, and they're not horrible. It just saves me from like going into a GNC and eating something and spending like, you know, $4 or $5 on a protein bar when I have a whole box at home. Oh, and then I have a mini My Bar. These are so good. I mentioned this in my favorite protein bar video. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below. I reviewed like my favorite protein snacks, which I bet a ton of these are gonna be in that video as well. Okay, so yeah, not all of that is gonna go in my backpack at once while I'm walking around, obviously, but just like if we're gonna be out the entire day walking around, I'll throw a couple of different bars in my bag and just keep them as a backup in case I either don't find something that I wanna eat, or I'm not like super hungry and just kind of wanna grab a little snack and get some extra protein or fiber in or something like that. That is personally how I handle the IBS situation with medication, and then how I kind of just like keep my regular snacks with me. I don't go like super far off the deep end every single time I travel, which to be honest is very rare. But when I do, that's the reason why I don't go like super crazy and just eat things I've never eaten before, because in my situation, having IBS, it would totally ruin the trip for me. So that is what I do. I am leaving in the morning, so I just wanted to get this video up for you guys, but when you see this, I will have already been to New York and back. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and if you have IBS, maybe you can try out some of the medications that I use. Obviously, I'm not telling you guys you need these medications if you do struggle with IBS or upset stomach, stomach sensitivity, whatever. This is just what works for me, and it just makes managing it a bit easier. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave me your comments down below on how you handle your IBS if you have it, or if this was helpful for you, let me know. I always love reading your guys' comments, and that is where I'm ending this video. So I will see you guys in the next one. I love you so much, and thank you for watching.